so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Metropolitan State University of Denver Spring 2021 Commencement Ceremony. I'm Rebecca Reed, Staff Senate President. I call this commencement ceremony to order for the purpose of conferring degrees on the Spring 2021 graduating classes from the College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences, School of Education, College of Business, College of Health and Applied Sciences, and School of Hospitality of Metropolitan State University of Denver, and other worthy purposes. We are gathered virtually today to rejoice in the accomplishments of the assembled graduates and to celebrate with them the completion of their education. I am sure you join with me in wishing them success and happiness in all their future endeavors.
Hello, I'm Dr. Katia Campbell, Associate Professor of Communication Studies and Faculty Senate President. Thank you so much for tuning in to our commencement ceremony today. It's an honor to celebrate our graduates, especially as a faculty member who has spent so much time with students and seen how much hard work they put to get into this point. Along with all of the friends, family, and members of the MSU Denver community who are watching, our faculty are cheering you on. MSU Denver has world-class faculty and staff, and I'd like to acknowledge their guidance and support of our students, as well as the effort that went into planning this commencement this spring. Now, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Janine Davidson, President of Metropolitan State University of Denver.
Thank you very much, Dr. Campbell. Now, let me be among the first to say congratulations to MSU Denver's class of Spring 2021. Commencement is my favorite day of the year because I get to celebrate you and your hard work. So congratulations to all the parents, spouses, children, mentors, and friends who are supporting you today as they have throughout your educational journey. Y gracias a nuestras familias latinas que están apoyando a los estudiantes que están graduándose hoy. Estoy muy emocionada en celebrar con todos ustedes. And I want to acknowledge the obvious today. This is likely not what you imagined your graduation ceremony would look like when you started your college journey. You're probably watching this on a computer or a phone, or you're probably tired of looking at glowing rectangles at this point. But your resilience to get to this moment after all you've endured the past few semesters is truly inspiring. And I hope you are as proud of yourselves as I am of you. Now, whether it took you 4 years or 14 years to finish your degree, or whether the last 14 months just felt like 14 years, you've done something exceptional amid extraordinary circumstances. You had a dream, and you made that dream possible. The final stretch of your college career has been a huge teaching moment for the rest of your life. Your professional career will no doubt have twists and turns. Many of them will be out of your control. But the class of 2021 is as adaptable and driven as any class before it. Many of you took care of your family while you were in school. And some of you may not have had seen your family in the past year. Most of you worked your way through college, and we all had to work together to navigate a generational public health crisis. So I would like to ask you to pause just for a second and focus on that feeling you have at this moment. You have earned that feeling. You've made what at times might have seemed impossible possible. And you don't want to forget that feeling of pride that you've rightfully earned. Now let's talk more specifically about your class, the class of spring 2021. It's a pretty impressive group. Some took a zigzagging road to get to college with stops at other schools or in other careers. Some were homeless as they went through college. Some struggled with personal hardships. But all of you are smart. And I know that because you chose MSU Denver, the best value in higher education in Colorado, if not the country. And no matter the road that brought you here, every one of you has earned your spot in this class today. In all, there are 2,229 of you who are eligible to receive your degree today. And that is 1,940 undergraduates and 289 graduate students who decided it was possible to make a change, to get that college degree, to advance in their lives and in their careers. Now, of those, 924 are students of color. 130 are veterans. 1,072 of our bachelor's students will be the first in their families to graduate from college. And that's over 55%. Our youngest graduate today is 19, and our oldest is 68. And that's what I love about MSU Denver, where we define ourselves not by who we exclude, but by who we include. We do not judge people for who they have been. We value them for who they can become. And you have become something truly special, a Roadrunner alumni. MSU Denver graduates are extraordinary people who are bettering our communities, powering Colorado's industries and economy, and painting the town of Denver Roadrunner red. They are engineers building equipment for missions to Mars, scientists working to cure cancer, and public servants getting elected to Congress. They're writers nominated for the nation's top literary awards, nurses administering vaccines, and entrepreneurs building nonprofits that deliver free meals to school children during remote learning. They're establishing neighborhood schools for our children and organizing to address systemic racial and social justice issues. They are reimagining what is possible in their own lives and in their communities. Roadrunners succeed in every field because they are tenacious, well-prepared, global-minded, entrepreneurial, and committed to working towards a better future. They are well-rounded, critical thinkers who are ready to impact their professional field from day one. And that is not just me saying that. That is what I hear time and time again from local leaders, business professionals, and other community members who say they prefer to hire our graduates over their peers. Yes, you heard that right. They prefer to hire roadrunners, and that's you. So let me close by saying one last thing. Every one of you has a story to tell about how you got here and where you're going. And I am amazed at the stories I hear when I get to know MSU Denver students. I'm continually moved by your commitment to your education and your perseverance in the face of adversity, especially in a year like this one. At MSU Denver, we do everything in our power to set you up for success, to meet you where you are and knock down barriers for you and other students, so many of whom have been told they can't for whatever reason. Certainly, you've overcome more obstacles than most this year. But ultimately, you got yourself across that finish line. This is your success. This is your day. So thank you for choosing MSU Denver to be where you reimagined your possible. And thank you in advance for making the world a better place. You are an MSU Denver graduate now, so say it with pride and share it widely, including on social media where you can use that hashtag MSU Denver grad so we can see how you're celebrating today. And as you go forth and do great things, I hope you'll continue to share your Roadrunner story, showing the world what is possible with an MSU Denver education. So congratulations to the class of spring 2021. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Will Simpkins, Vice President of Student Affairs.
Thank you, Dr. Davidson. And thank you to everyone for tuning in from home. On behalf of Student Affairs, I want to say we are so proud of our graduates and want to congratulate them on their incredible achievements. While we're holding our commencement ceremony virtually today, MSU Denver also had a special event last week that allowed graduates the chance to hear their name called in person and walk across the stage for that signature graduation experience. Our Paint the Town Red celebration was held outdoors at the Assembly Athletic Complex on campus, a one-of-a-kind moment for a class of graduates that we can't celebrate enough. Enjoy this highlight video from that special event.
Last summer, President Davidson committed MSU Denver to engaging in the anti-racism work necessary to create change in our community. Since then, the university has engaged in a number of new racial justice initiatives and highlighted long-standing work being done by faculty and staff on our campus. MSU Denver leaders and community members also successfully advocated for more state funding to support students of color, low-income students, and first-generation students at all Colorado colleges and universities, a crucial step towards closing degree attainment gaps in the state. I'd like to introduce Barbara Grogan, Chair of the Board of Trustees, and Vice Chair Russell Knowles, who will share more about the board's efforts in these areas.
Congratulations, Roadrunners. I'm Barb Grogan, the chair of the MSU Denver Board of Trustees. And on behalf of all of our trustees, I want to tell you how very proud we are of you and how happy we are for you. You inspire us and you give us great hope for the future. When you chose to come to MSU, you set an extraordinary goal for yourselves. And then with your hard work, dedication, and commitment, you made it happen. You now are forever part of the MSU Denver family, and we are so very grateful that you are. I want to acknowledge how challenging this last year has been for you, for your fellow students, for the faculty and the staff that supported you. But in addition to this beautiful graduation, some good things did happen this year. You can be very proud of the fact that your university was at the forefront of the racial justice movement. Our wonderful faculty and staff hosted numerous initiative events, speakers that focused on racial justice, equity, and inclusion. And last spring, your trustees unanimously voted to establish a permanent, sustained racial justice committee. This committee is a committee of the whole. The work is so important that every trustee serves as a member of the committee. And our goal is to support racial justice, equity, and inclusion for all, and to eradicate systemic racism and ensure the critically important representation of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And now we send you, our extraordinary MSU Denver graduates, to go forth and carry this message with you to the world. So now I would like to introduce to you someone who embodies the values of MSU. Russell Knowles is our vice chair of our board of trustees. He's a wildly successful corporate leader, and most importantly, Russell is a proud graduate of MSU Denver. Russell?
Thank you, Barb. Hello, fellow Roadrunners. Another way the trustees seized the momentum of this movement was lending our voice to the push for more state funding for the kind of students MSU Denver serves: students of color, Pell-eligible students, and those who are the first in their family to go to college. Colorado has significant gaps for college degree attainment for adults of color, but an investment in MSU Denver and in the other institutions that serve these populations will prove to be a strong investment in the future of Colorado, one where social mobility is possible and the workforce is strong and diverse. MSU Denver has a legacy of standing up for equity and equality, as demonstrated by its support for DACA and Dreamer students. We want to build on these values and continue to break down barriers. These efforts to equitably support Coloradans will benefit students and communities across the state. We thank you for engaging in this work with us. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we send our most heartfelt congratulations to the spring 2021 graduating class of Metropolitan State University of Denver.
Yay!
Thank you, Trustee Grogan and Trustee Knowles, for that great message. I'm Rebecca Trammell, Interim Dean for the College of Health and Applied Sciences. I am pleased to introduce the winner of the Provost Award for Spring 2021, Derek Brecken. Derek thought his academic career was finished when he dropped out of high school at 17. More than 10 years later, he decided that education was the only way to improve his life and enrolled in community college. After transferring to MSU Denver, Derek got heavily involved in Met Media, hosting his own podcast about higher education and students overcoming adversity. He also served as the general manager of the student radio station. He became president of MSU Denver's chapter of the Public Relations Student Society of America and is graduating with a degree in public relations today. In his final year at the university, Derek landed internships at the United Launch Alliance and Denver-based PR firm 104 West Partners, and now he has his sights set on law school. Please welcome the Spring 2021 Provost Award winner, Derek Brecken.
First and foremost, congratulations, my fellow graduates. I'm honored to speak with you all today. I hope each of you take this opportunity to celebrate with those closest to you and to reflect on everything you've accomplished during your time here at MSU Denver. I'm so proud to be a part of this graduating class that has demonstrated such a strong commitment to their education during these challenging and uncertain times. When I was 17, I dropped out of high school, and as far as I was concerned, that was the end of my education. I spent the next 10 years of my life learning things the hard way. I was scared to take chances, scared that I would fail, and even more scared that I might succeed. But at some point, I became aware that nothing in my life would change unless I did. It was during this time that the value of education emerged as a roadmap to personal accountability and to new outcomes. My time at MSU Denver started in the fall of 2018, and I quickly gravitated to the idea that this is a place where resilient people seeking practical knowledge come to create opportunity for themselves. I'm continually inspired by the administration, the faculty, and the student body here on this campus. The Roadrunner spirit embodies triumph over adversity, and each of you here today are the evidence supporting that belief. I will always look at my time here at this institution fondly, as the place where I learned to identify my values, take personal accountability, and accept the change required of me to move forward in life. I look forward to witnessing the continued success of this graduating class as we take our next steps towards our educational and career goals. Thank you, and go Roadrunners.
I'm Dr. Jason Yonke, Interim Dean of the College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. I am pleased to introduce the winner of the President's Award for Spring 2021, Nayeli Cisneros. Nayeli was told early in life that her family could not afford for her to go to college because of her undocumented status. Undeterred, she worked throughout school while earning her associate's degree at the Community College of Aurora and earned a scholarship to MSU Denver through the Health Institute. Nayeli is graduating today with a 4.0 GPA after majoring in psychology with a clinical and counseling concentration in 2 different minors. She managed to complete her degree while working and completing multiple internships simultaneously. Additionally, finding time to participate in several student organizations. Building on her psychology degree and various research assistantships, Nayeli plans to continue her education until she becomes Dr. Cisneros and wants to change the mental health narrative in the Latinx community as a psychologist. Please welcome the Spring 2021 President's Award winner, Nayeli Cisneros.
I don't think there's anything more powerful than inspiring and educating individuals through storytelling. So here's my story. I am an undocumented Latina, first generation, and daughter of immigrant parents. This is the label that I have carried since I was 8 years old, and I carry it proudly. Since the moment I came to the United States, all I would hear is no. Can I apply for FAFSA? No. Can I study abroad? No. I heard no so many times that I did everything I could, and I did not stop until I heard yes. Since middle school, I knew I wanted to go to college. And my father told me that we could not afford it, and that I could not receive the financial aid individuals with the Social Security number could. He told me that the only way I could go to college was if he sent me back to Mexico, my home country. I refused to leave the country where I grew up, where I spent summers learning the language, and where I knew my dreams took place. I asked him to allow me to stay and promised him that I will do everything in my power to go to college and that I will never ask for his financial help. After receiving my associate degree, completely debt-free, 1 year after high school, I was once again hit with my reality. I held a degree in psychology, and since I did not have a social security number, I was not able to use my degree. In the course of receiving my education, I always knew that nothing guaranteed that I could ever be able to work in my career. I knew that I held a degree that I will not be able to use. Even then, I fought the odds and told myself that somehow, some way, I would be able to work in my career. That I should not waste a minute of my life not getting the education that I desired. I was able to study, but I was not able to work in my career, which meant I would volunteer my time. Once I transferred to MSU Denver, I received the support that I could not ever imagine receiving. I am now a senior, completely debt-free, with scholarships that MSU Denver introduced to me. As of last September 2020, I received my work permit, which meant that I was able to finally use my degree. My whole life, I had to prepare for this day, the day that I will be able to finally work in my career and practice all I had studied. As soon as I received my social security number, so many of the doors I dreamed would open finally did. I am looking forward to my future. I want to continue my education and someday become Dr. Cisneros. I want my community, the DACA and undocumented community, to know that we belong in college as much as anybody does, and that we deserve the future we dream of. So I come today to tell you that if you dream it, it means it is possible. If you want it, it means you can achieve it. And if you prepare for it, it means it will happen. Even if you don't come from a similar background as mine, know that we all share a common goal, the goal to grow. So believe in you. Believe that if you make the effort, take the steps, someday, somehow, your dreams will come to life.
As president of MSU Denver, I am thrilled to announce that I have established a new award for the university to recognize alumni, employees, or community advocates who exemplify what we like to call the Roadrunner difference. Representatives of Roadrunner students who sprinted across Denver's busy streets to get to class from the early days of the university. The Roadrunner difference embodies that spirit of determination that our students use to be successful on campus and in their careers. Our graduates are diverse, tenacious, primed, purposeful, and entrepreneurial. And this new award honors someone who takes those characteristics to reimagine what's possible for themselves and their communities. A group of Roadrunners is actually called a marathon. And the Marathon Award will be presented at each MSU Denver commencement ceremony to a distinguished member of the Roadrunner community, starting today. The inaugural Marathon Award goes to Lieutenant General Laura Richardson, a 1986 graduate of MSU Denver who is the highest-ranking woman in the U.S. Army. Lieutenant General Richardson studied psychology and went through our ROTC program before becoming a Black Hawk helicopter pilot, flying combat missions in Iraq and working her way to the very top of the military. Among her many career accomplishments, Lieutenant General Richardson commanded an Army Aviation Battalion in Operation Iraqi Freedom. She served as the military aide to Vice President in the White House, and most recently, she led the Army's pandemic response. In March, President Biden nominated Lieutenant General Richardson for the rank of 4-star general, the highest active duty rank. When confirmed by the Senate, she will be the first woman commander of Southern Command. Laura has served her country with distinction and advocated for others to pursue service. She is an exemplary roadrunner and an inspiration to many, including me. For these reasons, it is my honor to present to her MSU Denver's inaugural Marathon Award. Congratulations, Laura Richardson.
Thank you, Dr. Davidson, for that kind introduction. It is truly my honor to receive the inaugural Marathon Award from Metropolitan State University. To my fellow Roadrunners and graduating class of 2021, a huge congratulations on your tremendous accomplishments. I am so honored to join you and be a part of your commencement ceremony today. I would like to start out with a heartfelt thank you to Metropolitan State University and the MSU president, Dr. Janine Davidson, for selecting me for this prestigious award. I love the idea when you told me about the award to recognize alumni, employees, and community advocates from this great institution. And there are so many. As Dr. Davidson mentioned, the Marathon Award recognizes MSU alumni who exemplify the Roadrunner difference. To the graduates, what I would like you to all know is that you are all capable of making a difference in your neighborhoods, in your communities, and even your country. MSU itself serves as an example. It started out as a much smaller college when I attended in the early 80s, and now it has grown into a large university with incredible degree opportunities and the most diverse student body in the state. An excellent reminder that great things can come from humble beginnings. I look back on my time at MSU with many wonderful memories. I actually took classes in the summer while I was in high school because Metro had the only professional pilot degree program, and I was working on my single-engine pilot's license, so this was a very nice fit. I, of course, was in the Metro ROTC program, and while my awesome experience as an ROTC cadet certainly helped me prepare for the Army, I did not set out to become a general officer. I don't think anybody does. Instead, what mattered to me was to be the best version of myself in whatever job the Army placed me in. And while the Army has never failed to challenge me, MSU instilled in me the desire to learn what I could from those around me, and the tenacity to never give up in the face of adversity. As I progressed from one assignment to the next, my bosses recognized and rewarded my passion for leading soldiers. Over time, the Army promoted me to positions of increased responsibility, from leading an aviation battalion into combat in Iraq to carrying the nuclear football for the vice president, and now coordinating the Department of Defense's COVID-19 national response and vaccination efforts. As you each receive your diplomas and start your own journey, I encourage you to display that Roadrunner culture you internalized at MSU. Be tenacious, be purposeful, be the best you. Although you may not have plans to change the world, you might find yourself doing just that. Thank you again, Dr. Davidson, Roadrunners, and MSU for this very special recognition and for allowing me to participate in today's events. I wish you all the best of luck as you make your impact as MSU graduates. Strength of the nation, go Roadrunners.
Hello, I'm Braden Wirt, President of Student Government Assembly, and it is my privilege to introduce our keynote commencement speaker, Colorado Supreme Court Justice Monica Marquez. We are thrilled to have her join us in celebrating Roadrunner graduates today. Justice Marquez was appointed to the Colorado Supreme Court by Governor Bill Ritter, Jr., and sworn in as a justice in December 2010. Before joining the court, she served as a Deputy Attorney General in the Colorado Attorney General's office. Prior to that, she practiced general commercial litigation and employment law at Holm, Roberts & Owen, LLP. Marquez grew up in Grand Junction, Colorado. She earned her bachelor's degree from Stanford University and then served in the Jesuit Volunteer Corps as a volunteer and inner-city school teacher and community organizer in Camden, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She earned her law degree from Yale Law School, and Marquez is a member of the American Law Institute, the American Bar Association, the Colorado and Denver Bar Associations, and the Colorado Women's Bar Association. She previously served on the Colorado Hispanic Bar Association and the Colorado GLBT Bar Association as well. Marquez is a co-leader of the Bench Dream Team, a group of judges dedicated to diversity and inclusion in Colorado's judicial system. She regularly mentors students and aspiring young lawyers and has been recognized with a number of awards for her career of service. Please join me in welcoming Justice Monica Marquez.
Saludos, clase de 2021, y felicidades. Greetings, MSU class of 2021, and congratulations to all of you for graduating, especially during a pandemic. That is not an easy feat. My name is Monica Marquez. I am the Senior Justice on the Colorado Supreme Court, where I have served since 2010, and I'm so honored to speak to you today. This past year has been challenging in all kinds of unexpected ways. And for many of you, graduating from college has surely been the hardest thing you have ever done. It is a tremendous accomplishment. So I know how heartbreaking it is not to be able to celebrate all this in person with your classmates and your friends and your extended family. I wish so much that I could be there in person, but I'm also grateful to MSU for this opportunity to record my remarks for your ceremony. My father, Jose Desidero Lorenzo Marquez, came from the San Luis Valley, where La Familia Marquez has farmed and ranched in the Antonito Conejos area for many generations. My mom, Cherry Beveridge, yes, that's her name, she grew up in a little town called Anadarko, Oklahoma. Dad wound up in the Air Force during the Vietnam War, and I was born in a barracks hospital in Texas. The Air Force sent my dad to law school, and when he got out of the service, Dad brought the whole family to Grand Junction. So growing up on the Western Slope, my sister, Christine, and I, we hiked and we camped and we fished on the Grand Mesa. I spent my summers in high school picking peaches and driving tractors in Palisade. My mom, she taught public school. My dad did a fair share of Chicano rights work in his day. He ran a mariachi choir at church, went to mass in Spanish. Our friends had surnames like Cruz, Baca, Lucero, Rodriguez. Some of us kids were light skinned and some were dark. And that part never seemed to matter a whole lot. But a couple of us grew up and realized that we were gay. And that's not an easy thing in a Hispanic Catholic family. I came out to my parents in 1992. And at that time, I was a 23-year-old Jesuit volunteer teaching in the inner city schools in Camden, New Jersey, and West Philadelphia. Camden, for those of you who might not be familiar with it, was desperately poor, full of gangs and drugs and guns and poverty. And we volunteers shared this dilapidated row house with a whole mess of roaches and mice, and we made a whopping $85 a month. We were completely immersed in that impoverished urban environment, which was utterly foreign to me, coming from a small town like Grand Junction. I remember counting crack vials on the sidewalk every day on my walk to the bus stop, and every single person in my household was mugged at some point or another. And in fact, one of my fellow volunteers was actually shot in the back in what we think was a gang-related drive-by. Luckily, he survived. But you can't live through 3 years of something like that and not emerge fundamentally changed. At times, it was totally overwhelming. I was not trained as a classroom teacher. I did not feel equipped to educate my students, let alone help them navigate or overcome the systemic injustices and inequalities that they faced. So I had to quickly learn to focus on what I could control. And rather than throwing up my hands when I realized I couldn't fix all of Camden's problems, I focused on what I could do as a 23-year-old rookie teacher. I worked my tail off to make sure that I gave my kids the best experience possible with the very limited resources that I had. And sometimes that meant nothing more than providing the stability of a safe and respectful learning environment. I fell in love with the teaching, and I learned more from my students than all my time in college. It was during those JVC years, though, ironically, that I finally accepted the fact that I was gay. And it was not an easy thing at all because I knew that, at least initially, it would devastate my Hispanic Catholic parents. It could get me fired from my job. And frankly, if I wasn't careful, it could get me beaten up on the streets of Camden. So when I did come out to my parents, I'm sure they were terrified for me. And frankly, they had good reason to be. The injustices that I witnessed and that I experienced during those years were what inspired me to go to law school. And it was through a series of accidents and minor miracles that this kid from Grand Junction somehow landed at Yale Law. It was a dream come true, for sure. I will be honest, though. I often felt incredibly lonely and unsure that I belonged there among all these students who seemed so brilliant and so accomplished. And it seemed they had been groomed their whole lives to wind up at a place like Yale. It's what today we would call imposter syndrome, and I felt it. My Western Slope tractor driving skills and even my newly acquired Camden street smarts felt completely insignificant in those Ivy League hallways. But I also knew that La Familia Marquez was at home rooting for me. So I dug in deep, hung in there, and I learned to trust that I too belonged there. And just like you today, I graduated. It's been a remarkable journey since that time. My father was one of just a handful of Latino attorneys in Colorado in the 1970s. And in 1984 and again in 1988, he blazed his own trail of firsts in Colorado legal history, becoming the first Latino district court judge in Grand Junction, and then later the first Latino judge on the Colorado Court of Appeals. And on December 10th, 2010, with the permission of the Chief Justice, my father, Senior Judge Marquez, gave the judicial oath of office to me, the first Latina justice and the junior justice on the Colorado Supreme Court. And as he uttered the last phrase of the oath, upon which I am about to enter, he raised his arms in triumph. It was a very powerful moment, one that I will never forget. In my decade on the bench, I have spoken with countless high school, college, law students, and community groups all across the state. And I've seen firsthand what a difference it makes to these young women, these Latinos, LGBT students, folks from the Western Slope and small towns, to meet a Supreme Court justice who reflects some part of them in their experiences. And I will also tell you, there's no greater joy than inviting a young person to climb up into my chair on the bench and to look out across the courtroom from my perspective, to literally inhabit my space and experience my view, and to see that student's face light up with possibilities that they had not previously imagined. I share this story with you because your courage and your persistence today matters, not just for you, but for all those for whom your journey lights the way. My Marquez grandparents unfortunately did not live to see me become a Supreme Court justice. Neither of them went to college. And in fact, my abuelita, Felicita Emerencia Espinosa Marquez, Grandma Mary, as we called her, she dropped out of high school just one semester short of graduation. Pero mis abuelos, they understood the value of an education, and they made sure that their kids not only graduated high school, but college as well. And as for Grandma Mary, ella es mi heroína. She is hands down the toughest mujer I've ever known. She eventually went back to school and finished her GED as a 68-year-old grandmother. She never quit. She inspired me when I was a kid, and even though she's gone, she continues to inspire me now. As spring arrives and light finally appears on the horizon, I feel like hope has begun to push its way up out of the frozen ground. And with that, I encourage you to cherish what this crazy year has brought for us. You have learned in an incredibly intense way what really matters to you, who you really are, and what you're made of. Soak up all of the wisdom you can from this nutty, crazy year and let it carry you forward into the rest of your life. You will survive this, and having come through it, nothing can stop you. You will know now that you are brave enough, that you are fierce enough, that you are resilient enough to handle whatever life throws your way. Today, know that there are moments in life that must be treasured forever, and graduation is absolutely one of those moments. Whether you've earned your degree in accounting or IT or business or education, you made it. And although this pandemic has maybe stolen some of the pomp and circumstance from the celebration, you have been blessed with an education It can never, ever be taken away from you. And now you have the opportunity and you have the obligation to use that education and your talents to make this world a better place. I know it's scary, but it's exciting too. Trust that it's all going to work out. Bottom line is, you only get one shot in life, so go for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justice Marquez. I'd now like to welcome Jamie Hurst, Assistant Vice President of Strategic Engagement for MSU Denver Alumni Relations, to give our graduates the final alumni charge. This is very personal to Jamie, who is also receiving a degree from MSU Denver today. Jamie, take it away.
Hello, I'm Jamie Hurst. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Strategic Engagement, and I'm also the Executive Director of the Alumni Association. And it's on behalf of the Alumni Association that I'm here today to congratulate you for graduating. This is a very big day. You're joining over 100,000 fellow Roadrunners that have done this before you, and we've built a great community of alumni. And today, I'm here to welcome you to that community. Every day is a great day to be a Roadrunner, but today is an especially great one because we get to celebrate you. We get to celebrate your achievements, your accomplishments, and all the hard work that you've done along the way to get you to where you are today. And so part of my role is to give you our Alumni Association charge. It's very easy to remember, and it's just the 3 S's. The first S is that we want you to stay connected. Your time at MSU Denver does not come to an end because you're graduating today. In fact, the Alumni Association is here to help you forge whatever path is ahead of you. And so we want you to stay connected with the university, with each other, with your faculty members, you name it. And we've created so many programs and opportunities for you to be able to stay connected, whether it's attending events or registering for networking socials. We have a mug club. We have career services that we can provide you. Our sole job as the Alumni Association is to make sure that you stay connected to this institution. And so however we can support you moving forward, know that we are here for you. The second S is that we want you to share your story. When you talk about your experience at MSU Denver, you're helping to bring MSU Denver to your community. So whether it's with your family, your friends, your colleagues at work, tell them about the experience you had here. Talk about your classes, maybe the internship you had. Talk about the community that you built on this campus and the faculty members that impacted your studies. Share that story with the community and help us bring MSU Denver out into the world. And the third S, which is probably the most important one, is that we simply ask you to succeed. Whatever your road might look like, we want you to do the best that you possibly can. And so if that's in your career, in your community, with your family, we want you to succeed. And we're here to support that. And today's commencement is extra special for me. Because not only am I here before you as the Executive Director of the Alumni Association, I'm also going to be joining you crossing that stage. After many hard years of work, long nights, homework on the weekends, I don't have to tell you, you've been there too. I'm going to be joining you as a member of the class of 2021. Today, I'm earning my degree in public relations, and I'll be walking across that stage with you. And so now, even more important than ever, and more exciting than ever, I get to welcome you to the Alumni Association, not just as the Executive Director, but as a member of the graduating class. So here's to the class of 2021. Congratulations on all your hard work. Welcome to the Alumni Association.
Hello again. Joining me now is Dr. Alfred Tatum, our new Provost and Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs.
President Davidson, I have the honor of presenting the candidates who have completed all of the requirements for the degree to which they are entitled and who have been approved by the faculty and our Board of Trustees. I therefore recommend that master's degrees be conferred on these candidates.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Metropolitan State University of Denver, and upon recommendation of the faculty, I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate master's degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
President Davidson, I also have the honor of presenting the candidates who have completed all of the requirements for the degree to which they are entitled and who have been approved by the faculty and our Board of Trustees. I therefore recommend that baccalaureate degrees be conferred on these candidates.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Metropolitan State University of Denver, and upon recommendation of the faculty, I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate bachelor's degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Graduates, you have now been awarded your degree from Metropolitan State University of Denver. Now, if you have a cap, you can take your right hand and move your tassel to the left side of your cap. And to those watching, please give a virtual applause to the Spring 2021 graduating classes from the College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences, the School of Education, the College of Business, the College of Health and Applied Sciences, and the School of Hospitality of the Metropolitan State University of Denver. Congratulations again to all of the graduates. And this concludes the main program, but there is still more to the commencement experience. If you click on the button of your college or school below this video window to view your individual slide. Now, I encourage you to take this time to create your own crossing the stage moment from wherever you are. Thank you again to everyone who joined us today. Go Roadrunners.